Hi, I'm Brett Parker, multimedia specialist for Packaging Strategies magazine. And today we're focusing on Clean Cult, the world's first company to package cleaning products in paper-based cartons. They've recently announced a launch across 4 Whole Food Market regions, bringing refillable, low-waste home care to one of the most trusted names in retail. Here to discuss this is Ryan Lupberger, Clean Cult's founder and CEO. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me today, Brett.
Can you tell us about the initial inspiration behind the formation of Clean Cult?
Yeah, so personally, I'm born and raised Colorado, so always been crunchy, natural, grew up with hippie parents, 100%. And when I was out there, it was just the way of living. Then I came out East Coast, worked at a few companies. And then one day I looked at the back of my bottle of laundry detergent and didn't see any ingredients listed, right? And back then I was basically a kid in college and business school and said, why aren't there ingredients in the back of my cleaning products? And just dove into this whole world of a lack of regulation here in the United States. A lot of toxins, a lot of carcinogens, just some really nasty stuff that we put in our homes and in our bodies. So I said, okay, there's got to be a better way, right? So then I tried all the natural brands in the market. This is almost 10 years ago now. And they all use just a lot of petroleum-based plastic packaging. And for me, there was this like just cognitive dissonance is how could they be better for the world if they use so much petroleum-based packaging, plastic, and it's some of the heaviest plastic on shelves. So, kind of kicked off this whole journey. It was could we bring less plastic and clean ingredients to this category? And that was the original, intention behind the brand.
All right, so can you walk us through the benefits of the paper-based cartons and why you feel it's a better choice?
Yeah, so obviously we saw that look, natural brands in the market aren't meeting the mark, right? Is that they are not helping the category. So we first off, we tried everything. I tried DIY, vinegar, powders, tablets, anything to reduce plastic, but they were all just far too much behavior change. And I realized they weren't going to basically grow in market, right? So that was really where we started in 2016 to 2018. And then we had this aha moment. It was, why hasn't anyone ever put soap cleaners and detergents in a milk carton? Right? We'd seen box water out there in the market do it for water bottles, but not in this category. And it turns out it's very, very difficult. But bottom line, cartons is and are some of the most sustainable packaging materials in the market today. So, from a structural basis, it's made up of about 85% paper, 10% HDPE, and about 5% aluminum. It is broadly curbside recyclable all across the United States and is actually the fastest growing stream of recycled materials. And it cuts down, even if it does end up in the landfill, which obviously some do, it is miles ahead of plastic, glass, aluminum, or even other materials. So yeah, we landed on this form factor and we're first to launch it here domestically.
I would like to know what the biggest challenges are of creating a paper-related packaging product because was there a specific reason why people were not doing this all along?
Yeah, we were naive. We were naive and we said this is going to be easy. Very obvious, right? Cartons exist in, obviously orange juice, milk. They don't exist in cleaning. We thought it was just a pure luck awareness. We somehow knew something more than other people. But it was actually, it's very challenging to do. So the first off, there's no manufacturers around the world that run non-food products on food machines, right? So imagine your juice manufacturer, your milk manufacturer, your really anything on a gable top carton, they can't run non-food products because the minute they do, that machine can never again be used in food because of all the food regulations, right? So that was the first issue is we had to buy and build all of our own machinery because no one existed out there, right? So we did a long machinery process to figure out what was the best, I would say, skeleton of a machine. Because when we finally got that thing, it was a real challenge because you have foaming issues. Because imagine milk versus soap on a gable top machine, it foams the soap, right? So we couldn't use piston fills because we literally had inches and feet of foam coming out when you try to automate the line. right? You have to have custom bottom seals because all-purpose cleaner, they want to get out, right? They're literally designed to attack the paper. You have to have custom side seals. You have to have custom cartons, custom specs. I mean, really, we did all of this from scratch because every challenge or every part of filling was another issue, right? And the minute that that soap hits that paper, you are effectively removing or reducing the shelf life, right? So you have to be really careful with every step in the process.
So I wanted to talk about your collaboration with Whole Foods. It sounds
Mhm.
like a big score for the company, and I was just curious if that collaboration presented any new challenges or any new realizations about the product that you didn't realize before.
Yeah, well, we've been on a mission for almost 8 years now. It's how do we remove plastic, but do it in a way that meets the shoppers, the retailers where they are, right? Because that's the only way we thought that we could generate real scale, right? So same price as the leading cleaning brands, very similar, we think better formulations, cleaner formulations, both in efficacy and ingredients. Um, and retailers, had to adopt that, right? So this year, we've launched nationwide at Target. We've launched nationwide at Costco. We've launched nationwide at Whole Foods. And for us, it's really validating because it's finally supporting the fact that people do want to reduce plastic. They are willing to adopt cartons in these categories, but we have to do it at the exact same price, right? Is people are not willing to pay a premium to reduce plastic and help their environmental footprint, right? So for Whole Foods in particular, it's our first natural retailer, right? We've really tried to align ourselves with that customer, and that's taken a long time to get to. But new scents, new packaging, there's a lot of newness that we're bringing to the retailer and broadly. But overall, it's just our first natural account. So really excited to see how we do on shelf.
Now, in the packaging world, there's so many more materials to work with nowadays. There's so much more diversity that you feel like we're constantly moving into like towards new methods and like a new
Yep,
territory of doing things. And with that in mind, you're always self-conscious about the old things that we're leaving behind and probably
yep.
should leave behind. So I guess my question is when it comes to like cleaning products, like what kind of like methods and materials do you feel like we could permanently leave behind when it comes
Yeah.
to smart packaging?
Well, the cleaning category is fascinating because plastic is very new, right? If you looked at post World War II and this emergence of conventional brands like Dial, Dawn, soft soap, right? It used to be powder in a box that's plastic free, right? So this world of liquid cleaning products in plastic packaging is very new, right? So talking about newness, everything changes, right? Pods, that's completely new. Now is about a 12% share of the laundry market, right? That just literally was invented 15 years ago. So I think we see this space as changing rapidly. And the good news is people are willing to adopt change, right? So laundry sheets, that's another big opportunity. It reduces like 95% of plastic in laundry, right? Gaining really rapid share. It's some of Amazon's best-selling products on the platform. So what do we think needs to be, I mean, thrown out now? It's plastic, right? I think it's time for the category. It's proven that other form factors can win, right? It's not the only form factor. Like with food, it's really hard to replace that plastic film. It's a lot easier in cleaning products, right? So we see a lot of opportunities. We think, some of the non-recyclable plastics can be thrown out. We think even recycled plastics can be transitioned. We think powders and liquids can play a bigger role. We think sheets can play a bigger role, but really anything that starts to remove plastic in this category, we think it is hopefully evolving and growing to do so over the coming 20 years.
Fascinating.
Um,
Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Ryan Lupberger of Clean Cult, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
yeah, it's great being here. Thanks again for having me, Brett.
And thank you all for watching.